girl, Linda S. Husser here, the bodacious lifestyle coach for black women over 50. And I'm on my way to a tea party. I got my white gloves on. I got my hat thing on. I got a different wig on. Sometimes you got to switch it up, y'all. But let me get into what is the subject at hand. Listen, a lot of times we make a lot of excuses for the way our life has been, the way our life is. And I just want you to consider if you could possibly be the reason why, if you could possibly be the problem, if it's you who is the reason why you're not living the life that's on your vision board, you're not living the life that you desire and deserve. Could it be you continually making excuses, not getting started, starting and stopping, blaming other people, feeling sorry for yourself, having pity parties? Pick whichever one above that you want to pick. But is it possible that it is you? You are keeping you from living your best life. You are keeping you from having a phenomenal relationship. You are keeping your business from growing. At some point, we got to pull up our big girl panties and take 100% responsibility for our life, however it is, however it has turned out. Because at the end of the day, it is not what happens to us, it is most definitely how we react to it. And we can all sit here and switch, have parties like, you tell me, pity parties, you tell me what bad happened to you in your life, I tell you what bad happened to me in my life, and then the next person can tell you what happened in their life. No, because what is that doing? We are just recycling misery. Recycling misery. And that is not going to take you to the finish line. That's not going to create the life that you desire and deserve. So what's a girl to do? What happens when you finally realize and recognize that, clutching pearls. If I had pearls on, I would clutch them. When you realize that is you. That is the problem. That's keeping you from living your best life. That's keeping you from living your life like it's golden. Well, the first thing is you got to forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for punking yourself. Forgive yourself for scapegoating yourself. Forgive yourself for not allowing you to be all you can be. For deciding to put your head in the sand instead of step out of shadows and stop playing small and stand in your phenomenal power. Right? You got to give yourself grace, y'all. Sometimes we can't move forward because we are just so stuck with shame and blame and all of that. And I want you to know that we've all had blame. We've all got shame. I still got some shame. And I've shared how I'm herpes positive. I've shared how, I have had an abortion or two. And I'm not proud of that. But, these things make you feel some kind of way. I don't care what nobody else says. You do feel some kind of way. But at the end of the day, I had to realize that I was the problem. That I was the obstacle in my life. That I was the thorn in my side. That I was the person who was keeping me from being all I could be. I had to recognize that. So what did I do once I recognized it? Well, I stopped making excuses and started getting busy. I stopped making excuses and started getting busy. I got a life coach. I got a therapist. I got in some support groups because I really had to figure out why was I self-sabotaging myself, because I got a lot of gifts and talents, and you do too. A lot of y'all are sitting on your gifts and talents. A lot of y'all are sitting on your gifts and talents, and now you're of age. You're a seasoned sister of a certain age, and now you start to ask yourself the question, what am I supposed to do? You do a deep self-assessment. You figure out what are the gaps in your life. What are the gaps in your life? What's keeping you from where you are to where you want to be? You got to fill in that gap. And when you recognize and realize what the gap is, and stop telling yourself, oh, I just don't know why. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Be brave enough to explore it. And if you really don't, go out and get the support and the help that you need, so that these things, our baggage is blocking our blessings. Our baggage is keeping us bound and we cannot have a breakthrough. So the first thing you got to do once you recognize and realize that you are the problem is do a self-assessment, right? You got to do a self-assessment. Once you do that self-assessment, and then you're going to figure out the gaps. You got the self-assessment. Now it's time to figure out where the gaps are in your life. Once you figure out where the gaps are in your life, then you got to get out there and find a gap filler. You got to find somebody who is able to fill the gaps for you. Somebody who is an expert at whatever that is that you're challenged with. And invest in yourself enough so that you can go out there and get the level of support, therapy, life coaching, whatever you diagnose or whatever you think, wherever you think you want to start first, and do that. That's what you got to do, y'all. Because if you are the problem, guess what? You are also the solution. If you are the problem, queen, you are also the solution. So I just wanted to come on here today because I was coaching one of my clients, and I was having her dig a little deep. Let's get down to, why do you think your life is the way it is? And she started talking about all this stuff, childhood, and a lot of our childhoods. If we can survive our childhood, we have done something great. But at some point, we have to take responsibility for our lives that we're living today. Now, we can't go back in time and deal with all that stuff, but we can deal with what is happening in our lives today. So, that's what you're going to do. I'm going to recap. You're going to do a self-assessment. Once you realize, oh my gosh, I am the problem, do a self-assessment. And during that self-assessment, you're going to find where the gaps are in your life. And once you find out where the gaps are in your life, you got to find you a gap filler. See, some of y'all think you're going to get it through the self-help books, through listening to all the gurus on YouTube, going to the workshops and seminars. And I'm not going to say that's a bad thing. But at some point, if you have gone through all of that and you still find yourself stuck and stagnant and feeling like life is passing you by, or feeling like you're too old when it's too late, and you still got gifts and talents inside of you, get you a life coach like me or somebody. You can actually go to speaktolinda.com and get on my calendar for a free Ignite Your Life sessions. That's a 30-minute session that you and I will have, and I'll do a deep dive. I'm going to ask you some questions, and you're going to give me some answers, and from there we can then figure out what moves you need to take in order to start crafting the life that you desire and you deserve. You deserve it, and that's why you're having such issues and difficulties, because you deserve this stuff, and yet you're not putting steps in place so that you can create the life that you desire and deserve. But you first got to determine that the problem is you. You are the problem, and you are the solution to whatever is going wrong in your life. It's up to you to fix it. It's up to you to come up with a plan. And if you can't come up with a plan on your own, that's where life coaches come in. That's where therapists come in. That's where support groups come in. But what you cannot do, what you should not do, what you will not do is just stick your head in the sand and pretend like you don't know where to get started. And if you don't, again, go to speaktolinda.com. I will definitely spend that 30 minutes with you during that Ignite Your Life session, and we'll do a deep dive and get down to the bottom of what it is that's keeping you stuck. I'm not a therapist, so after we do our thing and I determine that you need some therapy, I'm going to suggest that. But if it's something like procrastination, like you need to just make some certain mindset shifts in order to overcome your obstacles and reach your goals, then that's another thing. All right? So if the problem is you, and 9 times out of 10 it is, you are the reason why you aren't living the life that you desire and deserve. If the problem is you, and again, 9 times out of 10 it is, then you got to do a deep dive, do a brutal and honest self-assessment so that you can see where the gaps are in your life. You got to find a gap filler, right? And then you got to start taking the action steps toward creating the life that you desire and deserve. So that's it. I'm on my way to a tea party. And I was just thinking about that when I said I was coaching with one of my clients, and she was doing a lot of complaining and deflecting. And I just said, you know what? Regardless of all the stuff that you say to me, if 100% of it is true, and I have no reason to think that she's lying, but at the end of the day, you are still the problem, because even with all this stuff that you're trying to lean on, trying to say is the reason why you're not living the life that you desire and deserve, the truth of the matter is you can still create the life that you want, even with baggage, even with issues, even with challenges. But you just have to be honest enough and bold enough with yourself to say, self, I need to do something different. All right? And again, speaktolinda.com. If you want to have a complimentary Ignite Your Life session with me, and even if you don't, take what I just said and apply this to your life, because life is really worth living, and it's really awesome when you are creating the life that you desire and deserve. And the only way you can really do that is you must take 100% responsibility for your life. It's not going to happen any other way. It's just not. Because I mean, at the end of the day, if it's to be, it's up to you. It's not up to your mama and your daddy and your sisters and your brothers and your spouse and your kids and all that. It's up to you to create the life that you desire and deserve. Because if it doesn't mean nothing to you, why should it mean something to other folk? Makes sense, right? So have a fabulous day, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.